Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've got a little bit of a problem. When I'm at wide open throttle, halfway gas pressed, depressed, a third of the way depressed, I have a bobble and it goes, and it has to be a fuel issue. Well, I'm going to explain about these Mustangs. A lot of times, today I did an Aeromotive Stealth 340 fuel pump, and I ended up pulling out an AEM 320 fuel pump. I have no problems with changing the air motive. The AEM probably worked well as well, but now I have even the idle's even getting better as I'm swapping parts. I haven't swapped the filter yet, put fuel in it, or the other thing I'm about to talk to you about. Well, when these cars sit, the fuel gums up the system. Sometimes if a fuel pump's bad, and then it sits in that the fuel, it gums up, and then the output is less than it was before from sitting. Sometimes the filter gets clogged and you can blow through it and see if it dribbles out or shoots out. That's a good little test. Well, there's more than just that in the system. There's a regulator up front, there's fuel rails, and there's 8 injectors that could go bad. I've determined my problem to be a fuel problem, so I changed the pump because that's just general purpose what I do with a new car. So now, honestly, what I'm telling you and how cars sit and gum up, now this is a solution. Before I go any further, I haven't really driven this car. I've let it idle for maybe like 5-10 minutes, turned it off. I've driven around the block. I haven't really let it run for an hour or two. So what I usually do, and sometimes when my supercharged car right over here sits, I use Techron complete fuel system. I'll buy a couple octane boosters and I'll put 93 gas, which this car's tuned for, and I'll run it. I'll run the hell out of it. I'll keep the hood shut here. I'll rev it up here in the yard, and I'll run it for 2-3 hours and just let it run. Well, what that does is that creates a heat cycle. The heat cycle with the heat and then the fuel going through it, it's going to open things that are clogged or fuel's been sitting and hadn't moved in a long time. And this is going to help out, and it's going to burn a little hotter. In my experience, this has worked several times for me with cars that have good fuel pumps but have this little bit of hesitation that's not associated with a mass airflow sensor issue or a throttle position or idle air control, because the idle is great on this car. So I got to figure this problem out, and I have one more problem, the Fuse 9. I'm still hunting it, but I've kind of found it there in the front, and I'm going to change that harness when I get a chance. And my next step is I'm going to put a new, I have an Aeromotive adjustable, but I'm going to put a new factory regulator on what's on there before, but this one looks rusted, and maybe if the diaphragm's broken, that might cause an issue. So I wanted to tell you about fuel sitting and the Techron complete fuel system cleaner at Walmart. You add that stuff and you add about 5 or 6 10 gallons, and you put a couple octane boosters in, and if you got an issue like I'm talking about, a bobble and then it goes, it's probably most likely a fuel issue. And you put that stuff in, you run the hell out of it for a couple hours. It's not like seafoam. It cleans the complete fuel system, injectors, rail, regulator, all that, lines, everything from front to back. So it works really good, and I want to tell you about that, and that's my next step. I'm going to fill this up and let it run, heat it up, take it around the block 10 times until I can see. If it's not that, I'm probably going to change the regulator in the meantime just to rule that out. If it's not that, I'm going to injectors, you know what I'm saying? So like, subscribe, and share, and as always, keep on dreaming.